Right, so we're here with Adrian Stratford at Motion Exhaust. So we want to come through here and we'll talk about a bit about what you do. What do you do here at Motion Exhaust?
Pretty much all kinds of exhaust, standard replacements, custom aftermarket performance. Probably the main thing is custom. So on the hoist at the moment we've got a BA XR8 Ute that we're doing a custom exhaust on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you fix exhausts if they're a bit rusty, or do you put new ones in?
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll work on anything from high-end IXLs that have a rusty exhaust to Aston Martins and Ferraris, and yeah, basically whatever you've got, we can sort it out.
How long have you been doing this?
I've been here 5 years. I've owned it now for about 3.5 years.
Yep.
Dad's been doing it for as long as I've been around, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So he's pretty skilled when it comes to that. So this is one that people can't believe when they see it. Is just a simple process where we expand a pipe to slip over another. So a lot of your old sort of cars would actually use this sort of join from the factory. Cars these days use flange plates and that sort of thing to join them together. It's much the same as plumbing. There's a lot of flare joins in plumbing as well. So simple as that. So you can either weld that, clamp it, or tag it.
Yep. It's very interesting. How often does it take to make a custom exhaust for someone?
Depends on the vehicle. So they can probably the easiest one that we do that takes the least time is probably a V6 Commodore or six-cylinder Falcon. We can normally do a custom exhaust from the cap back in a couple of hours, as much as up to doing a twin system on an old Valiant or something to a full day or longer.
So how did you start doing rally?
So we got into rallying. It actually started from Carnacross and Autocross at the Bendigo Car Club. So I got into that just for a bit of fun. I've been in motorsport sort of all my life with go-karts and that sort of stuff. We stopped doing that for quite a few years, but I wanted to get out and do some things. So we started at Bendigo Car Club, which was great fun for the first couple of years, but with motorsport, you catch the bug and you can't stop. So we got into rallying. We started out in a Daihatsu Charade and moved up from there to the Fiesta that I've got, which was great fun for the first couple of years, but with motorsport, you catch the bug and you can't stop. So we got into rallying. We started out in a Daihatsu Charade and moved up from there to the Fiesta that I've got. Yeah, rallying's probably in my opinion, the best entry level motorsport where anyone with any sort of budget can run. So we're running from high-end XLs that are $5,000 or $6,000 to custom rally cars that are $250,000 plus, all running in the same events, which is really cool.
You said something about go-karting. How long did you do go-karting for?
Go-karting all up, probably about 6 years, I reckon. I started when I was 7. We got out of it when I was 12, and then a little bit later on did another few years. Yeah.
So that's really cool. So your first rally car was Daihatsu? Or?
Yeah, Daihatsu Charade. So it's normally the car that you'd find your nan driving to the supermarket to get her groceries. That's probably, and I still see him driving around now doing that. So it was a pretty cool little jigger. It was actually built to do. Originally it was built as a rally car for a school project in South Australia, and then it went on and done Targa. So guys ran it all around Australia doing Targa, which was awesome. So it had heaps of history and it was a great little car.
So I know a little bit Targa Tasmania. So I had a friend, he was racing an Audi, so you could race anything from an Audi like that proper sports car to something not that sporty and classified as a sport car.
Yeah, like a Charade.
Was it competitive, or is it really just the driver who can drive it, I guess?
Look, it's a bit of both. Targa's probably a tricky one where you really got to know how to drive. Two people in a similar sort of car, it really comes down to driver, because commitment levels are so different between one driver to another on those sort of roads. It can turn bad really fast. So there's definitely no room for error. So my charade was quite competitive in its own class. So it ran in the up to 1300cc class. It was quite competitive in that class. It actually won its class, which was pretty cool. Yeah, wouldn't be competitive against the sports cars or anything, but against other cars like it, absolutely.
So that sounds very cool. I really like the sounds of you winning. Where do you end up do you end up hoping to be in the WRC? Yeah, sorry.
No, you're right. Look, I'd love to, but unfortunately, the few $1 million, well, probably more than that, would be lacking. Look, we're mainly doing it for fun. So it would be great to go further and do all that sort of stuff, but unfortunately, I don't think we could go much further than the Australian Rally Championship, which I hope to do a few rounds this year. Yeah.
Who is your co-driver at the minute?
So my co-driver is Kane Manning, who's a friend of mine that basically helped me get into rallying. He was already a driver. I approached him when I first got into it for pointers and all that sort of stuff. He helped me get set up. Then I asked him if he would co-drive for my first rally, which initially he was probably a little bit worried about doing it, being a new driver, but he did it, and we've been together ever since. So he doesn't drive anymore, more or less.
So you obviously have to trust him a lot and he has to trust you. Have you ever been in a big accident?
Not a big accident. There's been a few near misses, I suppose you could say. One wasn't a big accident, but the first rally that he didn't really want to do, we hit a tree about 2 k's from the finish, which wasn't ideal. We were doing really well, but it was very wet. It was about 2 o'clock in the morning, very wet. There was a clay section and I just misread it and understeered off and nudged a tree and got stuck. That was probably the biggest, I suppose the biggest impact as such. Yeah.
Does it hurt when you hit a tree?
I think it would at speed, but at that speed, no.
So Adrian, we're here with your rally car. Do you want to go through some of the sponsors on here?
Yes, absolutely. So we'll start from the front here. So we've got Stow, which is a local company in Bendigo that manufacture awesome storage solutions. So what they are, the tight little garages that there's no room to put shelves and that sort of thing. It's basically a remote shelf that comes down from the ceiling, high up on the wall. So it is awesome. So it'll be good to check those out. And, one application that it would be really good for is young families. So if you've got chemicals and that sort of stuff that you can't hide away, you can always put it in this shelf. So remote control, it can come down when you need it, and when you want it out of the reach of the children, you can push it back. My main sponsor is Exceedi Clutches. So Exceedi have come on board for the 2020 season, which was absolutely fantastic. They're a great company, great guys, and I can't thank them enough for coming on board with us.
Yeah, so we'll keep moving along. There's your logo here.
Yes, yep.
So do you have a Facebook page?
I do, yes. So Facebook page is Adrian Stratford Motorsport, where I put a whole heap of photos and videos from our rallying and some build pics along the way.
Do CoolDrive sponsor you?
No. So CoolDrive helped us out with some lights, which were absolutely fantastic. So I wouldn't say a sponsor. It would be good if they were. But yeah, so they helped us out with lights, which were absolutely fantastic. Could see as much as we wanted to see, which is what you want.
Yeah. Bendigo Specialist Braking Clutch. They're local, aren't they?
Yes, they're local. So they're just around the corner from us. So a couple of my very good friends work there and actually own it. And they've been helping me out since day dot. So ever since we got into motorsport at all, they've been helping us out unbelievably. So my trailer's actually around there at the moment.
So Bendigo Specialist Braking Clutch also support me. So who we got down here, Adrian?
So I got Zestino Tyres Australia. So Zestino Tyres, they're only more or less a new company and a small company in Australia. Overseas they're quite large, but here their following is getting bigger and bigger. The tyres are fantastic. They manufacture tyres for road cars, drift cars, rally cars, circuit cars, so they got all sorts of tyres. We've been running them for the past 12 months and they've been absolutely fantastic. I personally probably rank them to be pretty close to being one of the best tyres we can get over here. I've done some back-to-backing and I was extremely impressed with the results. Jam Automotive, so Alan's a friend of mine who helped us out quite a bit with changing tyres over, especially early on. With small budgets we were using second-hand tyres and changing them between events and that sort of thing, so Jam used to do all that for us, and he's also supplied us with quite a few bits and pieces. Scott at Innes Motors helps us out quite a bit as well. So Scott's a good friend of mine. He's a fantastic bloke and he's always willing to help.
So what do they do at Innes Motors?
So Innes Motors, they're a new car and a used car dealer as well as a mechanical workshop. So Innes Motors have got Subaru, Honda and LDV.
So here we are looking at Corolla. Do you want to tell us a bit about this car, Adrian?
Yeah, so this is a car that we're building for the 2021 Alpine Rally of East Gippsland. The other rally that we want to do is AGL Rally of the Heartland in South Australia. So the Corolla, it started life as a AE82 Corolla front-wheel drive, and we've gone ahead and added a roll cage, some good suspension, a Honda K20 out of a Honda Integra Type S. We've also fitted a 6-speed sequential gearbox, so it should be quite fun to drive, I think. Here we've got some Reiger rally suspension, so it's actually out of a Ford Fiesta R2 WRC spec car. So they run Ford Fiestas alongside the WRC is more like an entry-level junior category. So they get fitted with some pretty good gear, which we were able to score from Germany.
Alright, so when I start building my Alfa Romeo rally car, will you do an exhaust for me?
Absolutely, we'll do that.
Alright, thank you, Adrian.
No worries, thank you.